Hello and welcome to today's Wild Hearthstone deck Sunken video on Show and Tell Shaman, or some people might call it Big Shaman, or maybe a Cheat Shaman. It is a deck that wants to use cards like Eureka and Ancestor's Call to cheat out big minions ahead of the curve. Some of the big minions that we're going to be trying to cheat out are cards like your Runaway Blackwing and your Abominable Lieutenant, as well as the new Glug the Gulper, since Colossal does trigger even if you manage to, say, cheat it out of hand, or, say, reanimate it, or by any method you can bring it on the board, Colossal will trigger. Now, for reference, before we get into the deck, there are some suboptimal cards, since I think this deck kind of requires, at minimum, Glug, Abominable, and Runaway Blackwing. The rest of the targets are the best that my little collection can muster. Like a Scrapyard Colossus is actually kind of good. I know old Ice Lord here is not the greatest, or Forge Fiend isn't that great. These are more that these are the best that my collection can sort of can muster at the time. Now, rest of the deck pretty self-explanatory. Have a couple of lightning blooms so you can, say, cheat this or accelerate our Ancestor's Call or Eureka play to be even faster, as well as some just sort of generic tools. Scalding Geyser sort of can be removal or damage, but more importantly, the Dredge just kind of lets us curate draws. Ancestral Knowledge also draw. And the last card we really wanted, and the last couple cards really we wanted to talk about were Bracing Cold and Farsight. Both of these cards are primarily in the deck as ways to reduce the cost of, again, the calls or Eurekas, making them happen ideally earlier than they already do at 4 and 6 mana respectively. A Farsight can bring them down. Bracing Cold can also bring down their cost, as well as their just general utility. And that is the basics of the deck. We'll go ahead now into our 3 little games for our video. Don't forget to like the video if you liked it, and sub if you like my content. Now, on to game number 1.
Oh, versus Valera.
And game number 1
Remember
with our
my
little
blades.
Show and Tell Shaman.
Are frightful.
Let's see. Rogues are either pirate rogues in my experience, or some sort of pillagey rogues. We'll go ahead and we'll get rid of Farsight and yeah, we'll get rid of the Forge Fiend. Need to kind of look pretty aggressively for our, there we go, for our particular show and tell effects, if you will. At minimum, we have it on turn 3. If we draw a lightning bloom, it happens even earlier. Centurion's nice. Okay, that would imply some sort of burgly kind of rogue, which is totally fine, all things considered. Admittedly, unless they start playing a whole lot of creatures, the Don't Stand in the Fire, which is the removal we kept, isn't going to be that great. I'm sorry, did you not hit anything? I guess you have the Spectral Cutlass in hand, I guess? We'll go ahead and get rid of that to save some life. We do it next turn anyway with the coin, so we'll just go ahead and get a Blackwing. At this rate, we're pretty well happy with whatever we happen to pull.
Love the feel of wind in me sails.
Okay, so maybe the Dragon's Horde was just a just a card to get, I guess. Hopefully we pull that particular one, but we might also just hit one of the pirates. Honestly, not that bad. When you manage to, for the viewers at home, when you manage to actually successfully cheat something out against the curve that's relatively large, I have found it's best to just translate that almost always into just face damage. You have to sort of make proper use. It was Cutlass. You have to make proper use of all of the tempo you gain by cheating things into play. The practical applications of tempo is just damage to your opponent's dome. The Spectral Cutlass is not great because it means that more likely than not. Great. Then Zephyrus just shits all over what little tempo I got. That's cool, dude. Real fucking neato, man. I think we almost lose immediately. Yeah. It sucks. Because Reno is all the Reno effects are basically free in rotation now. I mean, you can't do, you know, fun shit like this. That's cool, man. There's a cat messing with the back of my head. Hi, child. There's nothing we do next turn anyway, so let it be known that odds are we've probably lost, as this deck only really works when you're able to cheat something out early. And translate that into early pressure. Otherwise, you're just playing a deck that doesn't really have any late game power. Yeah, it's over. We lost. Going to game number 2. Again, folks, remember it's basically a combo deck. Let's cut the shit. It's just not a combo that kills you immediately. It's like the poor man's combo. Fun, but this is the reality sometimes. On to game number 2. And game number 2 with our little Show and Tell Shaman. Every Warlock I ever face is always some Tamsin forever late game, I kill you with a one-hit combo dumb shit kind of deck. Which will almost always have an answer immediately to anything I play. So now we just hope and pray, probably against all reason.
We have turned our curse into our strength.
Again, just some control-y, bullshitty kind of thing, just generally farting around. Go ahead and throw it up top. We need to look for cheat or ramp. Cheat will do.
Job done.
Odds are it's going to be turn 4. Hopefully we get something good with... Ideally, the Lieutenant is like the good thing to hit here. So that way we can actually gobble up whatever they happen to play, which is hopefully something big, as is usually the case with these just sort of Johann von Generico Warlock decks. Of course, discovering 2 Warlock cards basically means that I'm probably gonna just hit absolute dregs from our opponent. I mean, we'll see. It's an option. We are... Man, if we get... Well, okay, we hit the majority of our cheat tools here. So there is that.
From the void.
Ah, okay, so... either Void Lord or Mal'Ganis, probably. Well, that's not awful. But yeah, Johann von Generico Warlock deck. It's utterly boring in every conceivable way. Not to say it isn't good, but that's one of the reasons why you probably won't see me make too many, if... probably too many, because I might make 1 or 2 Reno decks. I find Reno decks, as an archetype, are so fucking boring. If one of those things you've noticed about me, I really hate that padded playroom style feel that we all have some weird affinity for. Can't do anything, so we'll just hero power and pray, I suppose. Probably. Yeah. Let's see what he has. That's a Forge Fate. Odds are they have some way to destroy it or kill it. Well, that's an option. They almost assuredly, and correctly so. Alright. And sometimes, this is another good example of showing that The deck is basically just a combo deck. I mean, for all intents and purposes, that is what it is. And sometimes you win early and can sort of punish opponents, and sometimes you can't. in a good World of Warcraft Shaman analogy, it's like my many years as an enhancement Shaman. It's like Wind Fury. Sometimes you hit all 7 on the slot machine, and sometimes you just lose all your money. On to game number 3.
Throw versus.
And game number 3 with our little Show and Tell Shaman.
A just cause is always worth fighting for.
My elements are
Now,
frightful.
because the first 2 games were particularly short, I would put good money on the fact that this is also likely one of those I just res a million things, or I have some alternate win con that kills you in 1 turn, or I just never let the game end. Again, what I would call a Johann von Generico priest, more than likely. But because the first 2 games are particularly short, depending on how long the game takes, I will probably play this game out to completion. Even after the fact, Johann von Generico, I win eventually, hard win condition. I will, regardless of which, play out the game for the most part to sort of show that how the game works when you can't realistically, what's the word? When you cannot realistically immediately win the game off of like really good hits. Get the fuck out of here. Alright. Does help when you draw Lightning Bloom. As just, again, being able to cheat out our cheats, basically. Again, trying to gain a whole lot of tempo early on is the ideal outcome for the game to take. Let's see, we'll go, yeah, go ahead and Eureka, I guess. Go ahead and Lightning Bloom, and Coin, and Eureka. Sort of doesn't matter that much what we hit. Now, admittedly, the Centurion doesn't often get honorable kills, but again, Centurion's more of a budget replacement. Because it used to be, in the earlier versions, a Baron Geddon. And Baron Geddon is almost never really worth it, and very rarely does what you want it to do. Or what you would think it would do in your head. Like me, when you're tinkering and trying to get this deck to work. We do have a Frostbite, but they don't give us anything to Frostbite, which is fair. I think we'll go ahead and Scalding Geyser, try and find something on the bottom. It's not fantastic, but a Farsight's not that bad. It's basically a mulligan. And we just hit in the face. It's Priest, so I bet good money that they're gonna either have, yeah, some bullshit like that. More of that, like, insanely boring shit. Well, there's that. Go ahead and totem up. Just try and dilute the chance that this kills our big boy. Again, I bet every dollar I had to kill him. Alright. I can't my bitching. But they'll probably play another one, or play some res effect.
Undead, not dead.
It's not exactly the same, but that is technically different, so I can't really talk too much shit now, can I? That was an order lull. I gotta be honest, when I see priest decks like this, my eyes just kind of glaze over. Because it's so not fun for me to play against. Okay, to be fair, that's technically different. It's not smart, but whatever. I don't care. Let's let it go. It's cool. Yeah. Let's see what happens. Let's see what we do. As a person who spent his whole life on the board, it's always nice to see that all the watch posts got cards in the Baron set. I mean, hell. I spent huge amounts of my childhood in the Barons, so that is always nice, however. It's going to get a little bit bigger. How does he order this first? Okay, so it buffs first and then... I'm sorry, what? Every point towards a card, add a cop. Okay. Credit given to them. That's not how I thought this was going to go. So how the hell do we do this? So...
Like sweating insects!
you. So then we do you. Then we have... yeah, we just set that. Okay, that's fair. I mean, I don't know what their deck's doing. But you don't really have to be good when you just eventually win, literally win the game with no input on my part. Cool. I'll probably eat that, which is fucking... oh, that's not true. We'll go ahead and Lieutenant, go ahead and frostbite their little shithead. Therefore getting bigger when our Lieutenant eats their watch post. Again, we we don't win this game, let's be honest. I've played in the couple weeks that I have spent with this deck, I know we don't beat this. It's cool. Again, Johann von Generico padded playroom bullshit. It makes my eyes glaze over. And then we just kind of do this. I apologize. Okay, actually out. I'm not gonna sit here. This game would literally take 40 fucking minutes. Because that's just the way that a lot of Hearthstone plays at this rank. That's cool. We'll do maybe one more game, assuming it's not against... we'll do another game, but if it's against another padded playroom bullshit deck, you won't even see it. So we'll go on to, hopefully, a quick game number 4.
Watch
our fourth and final,
My
hopefully quick
elements
game
are frightful.
with our little Show and Tell Shaman here. We'll go ahead and keep. Scalding Geyser lets us look. Lightning Bloom lets us hopefully accelerate a little bit quicker. Again, their deck's probably some sort of burgly rogue shenaniganery, but that's okay. That's not fantastic. I guess. It's not a great thing to keep. Sometimes you do whiff on a dredge and you just like end up just getting a bad draw. If nothing else, we can't always Lightning Bloom out the creature the conventional way.
Look! You shiny.
Another... either King's Bane or Burgle Rogue is the only 2 cards Shiny Finder sees playing. Okay, we got a Eureka. That's not bad. The weapon they play will tell us which one of the decks it is. Hopefully it's King's Bane. I think King's Bane is a very fun deck and really interesting to play. Although Burgle decks aren't that good. We do have a Eureka, so unless we... yeah, so we'll go ahead and just Lightning Bloom and Eureka, see what we hit. Pretty much anything's a good hit, honestly. Now, I mean, other than, I guess, if they have, like, a sap or something would kind of suck, to be entirely fair. So it's Cutlass, so it's Burgle Rogue, which is basically the bog standard at this rank. Which, admittedly, it's fine. The random nature of Hearthstone does mean that you can get a lot of fun games out of this, so I understand. Let's go ahead and Hero Power and bonk him in the face. Okay. Be nice. See what our opponent does.
Consider this
Hearthstone. Alright. I mean, that's a little weird, but that's fine, I guess. Good. Bracing Cold and a Bracing Cold, historically not good. Okay, that's something. We really gotta hit something here, game. There are these weird board states like this that if you don't hit it, all your cards are higher up on the scale, so you like can sort of be left like stumbling. I'm sorry, what was that last card I played? Was it Eureka?
No one crosses the uncrowned.
It was Eureka, right? I guess you didn't really want it that bad, which is fine, I guess. Why would you... I thought... I'm almost certain it was Eureka was the last card I played, because I Eureka'd the Scrapyard you played. Okay.
Choose soon.
Cutting class. Okay. I was wondering... Okay, so that is considered rogue, even if it is a dual class card. So if nothing else, I learned something for science. Okay. Dragon Horde. Get the cards back. Okay, Eureka with Dragon Horde is, like, okay, but that does sort of... Hey! Sort of require, this to play a certain way. We'll go ahead and Bracing Cold, since it either hits another Bracing Cold or it just... Well... Yeah. Either way, we're kind of okay here. Go ahead. Kill your spell effects. I don't really care that much. Now they will more than likely play... Yeah, the Eureka. So they have a Shiny Finder in hand. Next turn, we can just Alicure him in the face. Might not be enough to kill him, but it will hurt him. 7, 6, 13... Well played. Immediately they don't know, but... Fair play to him. But that's a good game. I'm glad we included that fourth game to kind of show how you have to sort of make do and just play this weird top-heavy deck if you don't hit your cheat spells on curve or really early on in the game. Sometimes you just have to play this very weird top-heavy game. But anywho, thank you all for watching. Again, remember to like the video if you liked it, sub if you like my content, if you have, you know, nice constructive questions. There are comments down below. And if I do have a little Patreon thing where, as of right now, I just do write-ups after most videos, to be fair. And we'll eventually, once the community gets large enough, do the whole money thing on Patreon, but that's long down the line. Thank you all for watching, however. Have a great day, and stay safe out there.